Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to review the new common test server. First of all, think that you have now are the dog tags. I will show you the dog tags here. They have backgrounds that are based on medals, the fighting, the demolition expert, this one the normals, fire for effect, and engraving. That this one shows some your statistics. I think I think on level no those are the levels. Here your statistic with all fame in the end of the month. So these are your statistics in 1 month. I think your statistics in 1 month. If these are the max statistics that you have. So dog tags are very simple. New statistic, your nickname, background, and gaming. Now we are going to the crucial part of the game. But this I won't show you the gameplay because I tried to play it, but I'd have to record it because guys, here is a very bad environment for testing things because people that don't even know how to play tier 10s play tier 10s. I really hate testing tanks here because you simply cannot. You cannot because uh, someone that has tier 1s can play tier 10s. Okay, tier 10s. So you don't have some like Armored Warfare field test or something else. They will pay you. They will play you with you. So you will see only guys that sucks play tanks. I just made some battles here. The best that I can get was 3-4k damage with E50. We lost because guys, look at this. Guys, come on. I cannot let you see. Look. How can you show someone a review of a tank that these aren't just super biggie 100 that you can be a lone wall. These are tanks that need players that know how to play them, and I know how to play 50. I'm not a very great player of 1-to-1 and 140, but I know that 140 now with one more gun depression and 10 millimeters of frontal armor will be very strong tank. This will be very universal tank, very strong, super strong gun, of course, high penetration and so on. Now I'm going back to here. They nerfed the Leopard PT prototype A, but they buffed Chinese mediums. Quite every Chinese medium will have increased engine power, shell velocity, and armor penetration with standard shells. So, and this one has even more penetration with normal armor. I will let you see here. Public test, Chinese medium tanks tier 7, which we will show. We will see it together because I can be wrong. Yeah, it is full. Yes. Look here. This one has less dispersion now. Look, the mobility. The mobility is quite the same, and even the armor. So this tank received only better aiming time and dispersion. All the other statistics are the same. Going to deteriorate. 44.2. This is not very full. because they mounted the gun. But now here you will see that this gun receives less damage per shot, but a very low level of reload, and it is more accurate. You see, 46 and 297, it is more accurate. Talking about speed is the same. It receives more hull armor, respectively positive 44-2, and more hit points. So this one receives more buffs respect the other. Let me look the Vuzel 120. It receives less reload, better top speed, and the armor is quite the same, more hit points. So the tier 7 receives better. I'll show you here because I will show you here. So the tier 7 receives better aiming time dispersion values. The tier 8 receives less alpha, but 3 seconds of less in reload time and better dispersion values, more hull armor and more hit points. The tier 9 received less buffs because tier 9 was actually great tank. More hit points and less reload. And now we are going to see the tier 10 Chinese medium tank that it needed a buff because it wasn't this great tank. Gun talking is the same, but the problem wasn't the gun. I think that even the dispersion values are the same. It receives more speed, more power weight ratio, 2 more, and more hull armor and more hit points. View range talking is the same. So they just buffed a little bit the guns on some. This one receives less reload. This one receives low everything, lower damage, lower aiming time, lower reload. This one receives lower aiming time and dispersion values, but this one was actually great tank. And the 1-to-1 receives more armor, honestly, but a little. Don't expect this one will become super strong tank. A very little armor. Now we're talking about the 130. That you will see it didn't receive anything so new, but it receives more gun depression. Year 7 gun depression, 6 gun depression. And it received 10 millimeters more of hull armor. This one will become, I think, quite broken because the thing that all this tank back was the gun depression that wasn't the best, but the turret armor is super strong, and the gun is very great gun. So this tank will become quite broke, and it will be quite broke, honestly. But I don't know. But it will not change a lot. But this 7 gun depression worries me because it will become quite broke tank nowadays. Now talking about my most weighted buffs, the Germans medium tanks. Oh my god, who was waiting Germans medium tanks buff? You see similar changes, but they put something. E50M will receive more turret armor, and some tanks receives more alpha, like Panther 2 and Panther 88 receive the same, only more alpha. Nothing changes on the armor. Panther 2 even, only more alpha. Look, only received more alpha, so more DPM. That is great, but it isn't nothing respect the tier 9. I expected some hull buffs from this tank. you will see this tank receives hull buff, the turret buff, that brings this turret to be quite effective against tier 9s. Sorry, here. But this gun receives more alpha, so the DPM is quite good. But receives more reload. Yeah, receives more reload, but more alpha. So it isn't broken like this. They little balanced it, but I still prefer the 390 gun. And the most weighted buff is the E50M. E50M really needed buff because it was quite low power tank. I think it was a really bad tank because all medium tanks were better than this one. All medium tanks were better than this one. Because in the turret you could even penetrate with tier 8 tanks, but now it receives a turret buff that you cannot penetrate it with tier 8 tanks. Only if you have 22%. But with gold ammo they will go through. But what is the problem? That E50M turret isn't the biggest turret that you will see in the battlefield, so it will not be quite easy to get your shells through here, because E50 turret is quite big, is quite small, honestly. Even here, when I played, I received some troll bounces here, but with it ammo you go through here, so with it ammo is quite useless. Now with it ammo they don't go through here because they buffed the they didn't even buff the side armor. So why you cannot go through here? I think they make more sharpened, so the angle is better made. I don't know, let's see, because this is quite strange, very strange. Let me see. 80 millimeters, 150. They buffed, even here they buffed this zone of frontal armor, the side armor, this one, because it was strange. You see turret armor 80, but it isn't 80 because here has 150, here this one has 80, this one has 150. So the frontal part of the tank is buffed 150. You can see here, right through here. Before it was all 80 millimeters, now it is here 150 millimeters of armor. It isn't more like 80, but is more 150. So they buffed here the side armor. What I think about these buffs? E50 really needed a buff, but it will not. I think it will be could be played on Clan Wars, because this tank is quite good. It has I think not a very good frontal armor and a very great turret. The turret is quite small, guys. E100 is big, and I understand, but they buffed even the E100. But E50 is so little. The zone that you have to pen, only these cheeks are penable, and this is very little. When you hold down, you will bounce a lot of shells. It becomes like the E50 on World of Tanks Blitz, and people on World of Tanks Blitz knows how this tank is very great tank. You will have always the problem of the lower plate, like on the E100. It has even a bigger lower plate, but E100 is a stronger lower plate, is a stronger gun, stronger tank. The 121, it receives its needed buff, but what holds this tank is the objective for the U. that really hold this tank. But if you are an experienced player and you don't need 440U to perform it, this one has a way better gun. Way better gun. You can do way more damage than 440U. I will show you. Add to comparison and add to comparison. So if you are a more skilled player, I think that you don't need the 440U to let you see that you are a better player. It has really better gun. It has more DPM, not from a lot, but it has a really good better dispersions. The armor is the same of every of these. This one is faster. If you enjoy really a high damage per shot medium that doesn't have all this super heavy armor, that is quite fast, 121 is for you. But another tank that holds that tank back is of course the 113, that is quite the same, but is quite fast as that. Even this one holds it, but this one can be playable nowadays. It has more hit points, better gun. E50M. I would suggest E50M, dear good E50M. E50M, it doesn't have the best grinding line. Why not? Because these tanks are quite all the same. This one is good. Panther is one of the best tier 7 mediums. The Panther 2 is trash. Is a trash tank. They buffed the gun, yes, but it needed more armor because you cannot make Panther 2. Yes, Panther 2 is a sniper medium. Doesn't have really good armor, but it has very great accuracy gun. It snipes, of course. E50 has a good gun, it snipes, but also has a better armor. So I really don't understand why Wargaming didn't buff the Panther armor, because sorry guys, but Panther, to stay in line with E50, really needs a hard buff. Even Panther 88, I'd make those tanks more like E50 playstyle, because the top of the line is E50M. E50M has a very great gun. When you would play it, you will see that E50 has a very great gun. But the line, oh god, the line is very different from the playstyle of the tier 10. The tier 10 has more armor. The tier 10 is better than tier 8, but it's way different. You play way different. With Panther, you don't push like E50. You don't ram like E50. You have just to stay in your base and snipe. With this one, you can do it, but you can even show some of your armor. Now it has even better armor, so it became a better tank. It will not be the most used tank on Clan Wars, but when you're playing random, this tank will be very great. 140 didn't need the buff. Why the hell they buffed this tank? This buff, no one asked 140 buff. No one asked this tank buff. This tank was very good. This one really was very good tank. Just why they gave it more gun depression and more armor. This tank has so good armor, so good gun. Gun depression is one of the things that holds back this tank. Why they buffed it? I really don't know, because the tank was actually great. That tank didn't need buff. It make just buff lower run dispersion, make 10 degrees of gun depression of 100. Why the hell? Why the hell you buff that tank that didn't need buff? Just the nerf of 40U that we nerfed the 30mm of cupolas. The cupola is 300, now they have to 270. Why they make those stupid nerfs, a stupid buff? This tank really needed the buff. I know that it's quite nothing, but it makes me angry because there are tanks that really need a buff. Like E5, they buffed it, but here it's quite penetrable. Like the E4, they never buffed this tank. The Type 5 really needs something because this tank, the Action X, there are some the T57, the Panzer 100, the Panzer 7. There are tanks that you have to buff instead of the 130. Why you have to buy 130? It was actually a great tank. Why you have to do it? It's useless. It's very useless. We didn't need buff. This one needs buff. This one needs buff. This one needs buff. Why? Why you buff this one? Why you have to buy this one? A part of these things, this will not be a broken update. They buff tanks that really needed a buff. A part of these two little buffs, but they made a very great work buffing E50M and 1-to-1 line because these tanks weren't good enough. Were quite lower power tanks. I don't show you a gameplay because, guys, I tried to play, but I show you. That one, I show you the same because 5 peoples don't know how to make damage. I show you. How can I play with this team? How can I play? We are the only ones that make 2,000 of damage. And half of the team that didn't even make 1,000. So how can I play? How can I make you a gameplay? Okay. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, put a like. If you don't, put a dislike. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye, guys.